Hi guys, it's Stephanie Graham, Sopreneur. How are you doing? It is Friday, August 19th, 2022, and this is probably going to be one of those videos, hopefully, that the internet catches up with. Um, this place says it's high-speed internet, but the connection has literally been a nightmare all summer if you've been with me. Um, all summer long. Okay, so I found some really good information for today's Fridaysews topic. And of course, I will start coughing because I go live, right? I don't edit my live videos yet, but maybe someday I will do that. And hopefully the camera does not bounce around. Okay, so real quick disclaimer, I'm not giving legal advice. I'm just telling you what I found out, and I think it's really interesting. Give me a second. I'm going to see if I can turn this light on. All right, that's a little bit better. Okay, so um, as always, I have the free newsletter at sopreneur.com. It's almost, well, we're in the middle of August 2022, so I do have a few more lessons to go over for those that are following the sewing for unique and special needs and considerations. I have not forgotten you. I am working on that to get that finished. I want to make sure that it's full of information. Also, the free newsletter is at sopreneur.com, and I hope you join the newsletter. But if you don't want the newsletter, please consider subscribing to my channel and liking it and ringing the bell for notification. Almost 80% of my viewers are not subscribers. So if you are enjoying the content, please help me out. It doesn't cost you anything. I just need you to tell YouTube that it's good information and you subscribe. And if you ring the bell, then you'll know when I go live or upload a new video. And here we go. So, like I said, I'm not giving legal advice. I can't do that because I'm not in that field. But I did find some really, really good information, and I'm going to share it with you verbally, and then I will post the links underneath this video sometime over the weekend. So just kind of keep an eye out for it because you might want to know where I found this information. That way you have it for your own sewing purposes. All right. So one of the questions I found, it said, can I sell items made from simplicity patterns? And one thing that I think is interesting and why um, somebody asked that was simplicity has been around for a very long time. Whether you're making household items, costumes, memory bears, and other stuff, toys and animals and things like that for your business, it's always a question like, am I going to get in trouble if I produce or use the pattern to sew and sell, basically? And the answer that I found was this. The answer that and I'm going to post this information under this video. So make sure you hang out with me. It said absolutely. So the question, let me go back real quick. Can I sell items made from simplicity patterns? And the answer to that question was absolutely. You aren't selling copies of the pattern, but selling clothing made using the pattern. No problem. Okay. And let's see here. That, I'm not sure what date that was, but again, I'll post the link below. And if you see me moving around, it's because I hurt my leg in June. And so if I sit a certain way, it's actually causes like severe pain. I'll eventually get it looked at, but that kind of thing is really, really pricey. Even with health insurance, the copay is through the roof, right? So I just live with the pain. um, the next question I found was, can I sell things made from a pattern? And I found a couple different answers. One answer says, technically, unless the designer has gone through the extensive process of specifically copywriting the finished products, you can sell finished products made by any pattern out there as long as you make it known that you did not design it. Now, that was a question and answer from 2018. Okay. Here is a really interesting website. Now, this particular information was posted in August of 2015. And this comes from a website called So Easy. And I listened to her on YouTube. Um, oh, what is her name? Now I feel bad. I'm trying to remember her name. Anyways, or So Very Easy. That's who I listen to on YouTube. But this website is So Easy. SOSEWEASY. And it said, I'll scroll down and just go to the like nitty gritty of it. It says sewing pattern copyright law myths debunked. And I'm just like I said, I'm not going to read verbatim, but I will definitely put the link below this video so you can actually read like the whole entire blog article. But it said number one says if you make something yourself from a commercially available sewing pattern, is it illegal to sell it because of copyright laws? And it says it is illegal to sell. Let me start over. Sorry. Question number one. If you make something yourself from a commercially available sewing pattern, it is illegal to sell it because of copyright laws. And the answer said not true. A sewing pattern itself may be subject to copyright law, but that is only the pattern, illustrations, diagrams, written instructions in the pattern envelope art. That means that you cannot simply photocopy or scan in the sewing pattern and then sell copies of it. Naturally, I'm not sure you wouldn't do that. Although naturally, I'm sure you would not. Okay, anyways. Although, if you look at Etsy, there are plenty of seemingly illegal copies of sewing and knitting patterns and even scanned copies of whole books on there. But that's another matter, it said. But you can sell things that you make from sewing patterns with only a few or only with only a minor limitations. It said a pattern is simply that, meaning it's a template that you follow to create an item. You add your own artistic flair to what you create using that template. What you make is your property and is yours to do with as you will. Okay. Now, it said in legal terms, patterns for clothing and other useful items generally are not copyrightable. Supreme Court dash Baker versus Selden. And now, again, when I put the link below this video, you can Google all this yourself. It says even if patterns were copyrightable, um, let me see, the product made from the pattern would not be covered by the copyright. And again, they have a whole Supreme Court that was dated 1878. So we're talking over 100 years ago. Copyright owners only have the rights defined under the copyright law and cannot make statements that restrict the subsequent use of their product once they have sold it. Let me see here. And there's a link to a TED talk that I will put to. I haven't even watched that yet, but I'm going to do that. So, question number two. If you buy an indie pattern and then find right at the end it says for personal use only or not for commercial use, etc., then you aren't allowed to sell any items you make using that pattern. And the answer to that said not true. These terms are trying to impose a contract between the pattern seller and the buyer. But for a contract to be legally binding, both parties have to be fully aware of all the terms of that contract, and both expressly agree to them before entering into that contract. At that point of the at the point of the purchase of the pattern. Okay, and then it goes on to say in legal terms, unless the producer, or I'm sorry, unless the purchaser agrees to the restriction before the sale, the limitations on the product do not apply. And there's a whole court case on that one too, and that'll be in this article. The non commercial limitation is not legally binding upon the purchaser because the manufacturer lacks the legal standing to make such a demand. Okay, got that so far? All right. And it'll be really good for you to go ahead and read this on your own once I'm done posting it for you. Okay, number 3. What about the designers who want to charge you for a license to sell what you made from their patterns? Okay, this is apparently this is called an angel license or a cottage license, and that's agreements between two parties. If you purchase the pattern without first agreeing to limitations, the same applies as in number 2, which was what I just read. These licenses are attempts by designers to get around copyright law. Don't fall for it and pay out money for a license you don't need and isn't worth anything. If a pattern designer expresses their wish that you do not sell items created from the pattern, then you may decide to simply use another pattern. There are lots out there. Don't waste your time and money on a pattern designer who is overly restrictive or uncooperative. Okay, and I'm hurrying. I promise. Hi, I'm on live. You question number 4. Sorry, I had to talk to my daughter. So didn't I, Savannah? Hi, Savannah. Um, you question number 4, or statement number 4, I guess I should call that. And disclaimer: I'm not giving legal advice. I'm not giving you my opinion on any of this. I'm simply just educating you on what I found. And I know since we're all sewing artists or sewing entrepreneurs, sewpreneurs or sewists or seamstress, then this would all be, excuse me, this would all be interesting to all of us, right? Okay. You can't, this is another like question statement. You can't sell items made with licensed fabric, such as Doctor Who fabric. That's illegal, and the BBC will come after you for making forgeries, illegal copies of their products, or going outside of the license agreement for the fabric. The answer I found to this one, and this is very interesting because now we're in 2022, and I know a lot of Etsy shop sellers have been closed down, especially by like by using Disney print fabrics. I somebody was like using Minnie Mouse or Mickey Mouse or something like that to make embroidered shirts and stuff like that. So this, let me see what this says. The answer said not necessarily true. Licensed fabric means the design was licensed by the rights owner to be manufactured. A license is between those two parties, not between the manufacturer and the fabric buyer. There is no license on the use of the fabric as long as the user ensures that when selling the item is very clear to the potential purchaser that the product is not an officially licensed product, but rather made from licensed fabric. We suggest users include a disclaimer when advertising anything made this way. And there is a whole nother link on how to use licensed fabrics. So, it said these restrictions aren't legally binding on the fabric purchaser. So that the purchaser would be like you and I, and we go to Hobby Lobby or Joann Fabrics or whatever, Etsy, and we buy licensed fabric like Disney prints and NFL and things like that. That's how I am interpreting this. But again, I'm not in the legal field, and so I'm just basing it off of what I'm reading. So if you're understanding this to be something different, please let me know in the comments below. Always be nice, because I don't approve nasty rudeness or dirty things in the comments, and then I actually report and block. So I want everybody to be on my channel positive, um, helpful, um, nice, and all the good things, right? All right. Here's another question. What about those designers who insist you credit them by adding a notice to your sales page and a tag to the item saying it was made from their patterns? This is interesting. Okay, it says the answer is depends where you live. American copyright law does not require the original author to be given credit as you describe. European copyright law does require attribution, but Congress declined to add that to the American copyright law. Their demands for credit are not legally enforceable. Okay, I never heard this question, but apparently somebody said you must purchase a pattern for every item you make. The answer given says, not true. Patterns are reusable, and there is nothing in the law that allows any pattern designer or manufacturer to set such a limit on the number of items that can be produced from the pattern, even if they are items of clothing intended for different people. Imagine if you had two daughters and wanted to make them matching dresses. Why would you need to buy two patterns? The same applies even if you are sewing items to sell. Whew, okay. So, I mean, this is really good information. This is something that really causes a lot of issues in the sewing groups. Don't, I mean, I know I've seen that. If you've been sewing for any amount of time, then chances are you have also been privileged to seeing that. All right. All right. Let's see here. And then we talked about, is it illegal to copy sewing patterns? That was another question I found. And it says that you cannot copyright the idea behind a sewing pattern. So if you created a pattern for a new kind of shirt, you cannot protect your idea. You can't stop others from making and selling a hat just like yours, but you can copyright the specific graphics you used on your pattern along with the text of the instructions. So like when I read that, this is what comes to my mind. And obviously, we all have different ways of interpreting this, right? So always get your own legal advice. That's what I tell my students. That's what I tell everybody on my channel. Get your own tax advice and legal advice from professionals. Just like this whole channel is just about educational purposes only. Sometimes it's about entertainment. I sometimes throw in my cheap grocery haul that I did. uh, it's it's in the playlist up here from today. But uh, the way I see this is this: you and I make memory bears, right? And if you have, if you've been in this field, whether it's a sentimental teddy bear, a memory bear, a comfort bear, or what was the other one? Whatever, memorial bear. They're all teddy bears, right? Big, small, tiny, little, miniature, anywhere from an 2.5, 2 inches into huge, right? Like 7 feet tall. A teddy bear is a teddy bear, but the pattern itself does doesn't dictate whether you can sell the finished product. I think what they're saying is you can't take somebody's pattern and then upload it or resell the drawings and written instructions, whatever that person did. So I would definitely talk to your legal field. Sorry, I was looking over here. I was actually looking at this, I'll tell you. This drawing. It's going to go in the newsletter for the memory bear class coming up. And that's a free class if you're on the newsletter at sewpreneur.com, SEWPRENEUR.com. So if you subscribe to this channel and you ring the bell for notifications, you will know when that all is going to take place. But if you're on the newsletter, you'll really know when it takes place. And you have to be on the newsletter to get some of the free drawings and stuff like that. But basically, if you and I were to sit down and we would both draw a teddy bear pattern, I could not go and resell your pattern. I could purchase your pattern and make a teddy bear and sell the bear, but I could not just purchase your pattern or get it for free and then turn around and sell the drawing and the instructions and things like that. So hopefully this is helpful for you. I will put the link underneath this video once I get it uploaded. It's live, so we will go from there and see what we can do. Meanwhile, it is Stephanie Grams, and I hope you're having a great Friday. Join us with the hashtag Fridaysews because there's all kinds of things going on with that hashtag. It is a lot of fun. You meet a lot of new YouTube channels. And if you are interested in like subscribing and you have a channel, let me know in the comments below because I'm always looking to connect with fellow sewing artists. Sewing entrepreneurs, which is a sewpreneur. All right, guys. Thanks for joining me. Bye.